Welcome back to my G1 Retro Reviews. Today we're taking a look at the original Transformers series episode, The Search for Alpha Trion. In this episode, we meet a whole bunch of female Autobots. Aw, I am so excited! Let's get right into it! This episode begins on Cybertron, with Firestar, Moonracer, and Chromia breaking into Shockwave's lab in order to steal some of his energon. Apparently Firestar is a parts former. Did you see how she split apart and came back together? But Moonracer had to be greedy and go back for one more energon cube, setting off Shockwave's alarm in the process.
Female Autobots. I thought they were extinct.
Why would female Autobots go extinct? That's a question to revisit at the end of this video. Shockwave sends Sentinel after the female Autobots, not to be confused with the Sentinel computer from Beast Wars, although I wonder if the two may be related somehow. So Sentinel gets one-shotted by Moonracer, and Shockwave calls Megatron for help. Apparently Shockwave isn't used to dealing with girls. In the ladies' base, we meet their leader, Elita 1. In the background, we can also see Greenlight and Lancer ever so briefly as the camera pans across. Although these two fembots wouldn't actually get named until decades later. I really regret not buying official figures of all these girls when I had the chance. Hopefully Hasbro makes new versions of them in the future, because I am definitely not paying $300 for a deluxe. Are you crazy? Anyways, Elita congratulates them on a job well done, who then calls Alpha Trion for advice. In War Dawn, we learn that Alpha Trion is kind of Elita's father, because he rebuilt her from Ariel. And so that sort of makes Optimus Prime her brother, since Alpha Trion even says that he used the same blueprints or whatever.
Perhaps I can try a similar reconstruction using your schematics. A female warrior. I'll call her Elita 1.
See, this is why it's best to not think too hard about Transformers and family relationships. After all, they were Orion Pax and Ariel first. So even if Alpha Trion rebuilt them and gave them new names, it's more like they were both operated on by the same doctor, not that they have the same dad. I was building up to a joke about Elita 1 calling her daddy for help, but I've honestly forgotten what the punchline was supposed to be here after that weird tangent. So let's just move on. Oh wait, I remember now. Okay, so Alpha Trion tells Elita not to use her special power. Very much like dads often do in Disney princess movies. Specifically, I'm thinking of Elsa in Frozen. Elsa, Elita, it's kind of similar. Plus, like I mentioned, her name used to be Ariel, like the Little Mermaid, who's probably my favorite Disney princess. So can we just make Elita a Disney princess too? That would be so cute! So the Decepticon reinforcements arrive at the female Autobots base and they begin demolishing it. Okay, Elita is awesome! Unfortunately, she is captured by the Decepticons, but the other female Autobots seem to be okay. Megatron then calls Optimus Prime to gloat how he's captured his girlfriend.
No! Teletron, I need you to pinpoint the Decepticon space bridge.
Well, he might not do it for you after you hit him like that. Poor Teletran. We then flash back to just before the arc took off, 4 million years ago. So does that mean that Elita and the other female Autobots have been hanging around Cybertron for 4 million years, fighting Shockwave, while the boy Autobots were in stasis this whole time? Wow, these girls look pretty good for their age. I'd say they're not even a day over 1 million. What's your secret, ladies? Hot oil baths? Do you get waxed and polished regularly? A lube job every couple months? Do tell! So apparently Optimus Prime thought Elita 1 was dead all this time. and thus why the female Autobots were never mentioned before this, and why he never attempted to contact them before either. Also, this is a bit of a retcon to the first episode, isn't it? I don't remember the Decepticons firing on the Ark as it took off. If I recall, didn't they sneak up on them in their own ship, the Victory? And I guess I should mention how this scene was kind of recreated in the Netflix exclusive War for Cybertron Siege finale. Although it does play out a little different in that show. Back at the Ark, we see a bunch of red Autobots, and Bumblebee wonder why Optimus is going to the space bridge. Meanwhile, I wonder why there are so many red Autobots in this episode. More on that later. So, Optimus arrives at an unguarded space bridge.
It's a trap!
And of course, it is a trap. Back at the ruined Autobot base on Cybertron, Moonracer gets the idea to use the Energon cubes to blast their way out. Back on Earth, the other boys arrive at the space bridge.
If Prime got past those guards, so can we.
What guards, Ironhide? The place is deserted. You guys literally just run into the space bridge in the next shot. Back on Cybertron, the Decepticons drop Optimus Prime into a vat of acid. By the way, where did Rumble get that cool looking sword? I guess technically it's a lightsaber, or a non-copyrighted Energon blade, or something like that. Either way, I want one. But Alita uses her special power, which apparently lets her freeze time. Okay, I already thought she was pretty cool, but she has time powers too? Now that is awesome! Optimus rushes her to Alpha Trion, while the other boys fight the Decepticons.
Parkour!
But it's the girls to the rescue.
How quaint! The girls have come to rescue their boyfriends!
Hey, I was going to say that, Starscream. Don't steal my lines. So yes, as Starscream so rudely pointed out, we see each of the fembots paired up with one of the boys. First is Firestar with Inferno.
Firestar, been a long time.
I don't know if these two are actually boyfriend and girlfriend. Maybe they're just friends. But if they are or were a couple, then I foresee at least one awkward conversation in Inferno's future. You see, Firestar, I thought you were dead, so I hooked up with this cute little guy named Red Alert. Well, you see, Red, I actually used to have a girlfriend on Cybertron. I thought she was dead, but turns out she's not. Seriously, I wonder how Inferno, Red Alert, and Firestar are going to sort out this whole mess. This is like something out of a soap opera.
We interrupt as the kitchen sinks for this special news bulletin.
Just when it was getting good.
Anyways, our next pairing is Powerglide and Moonracer.
I hope you're still the best sharpshooter in the galaxy, Moonracer.
In the universe, Powerglide.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. Being able to shoot without looking? Definitely cooler than shooting with your eyes closed.
Oh, mother damn, she just shot at you with her eyes closed, Spoon.
Hey! Did you just shoot at me with your eyes closed?
Well, it worked, didn't it?
Spoon, she is shit hot, man. You gotta put her to work for you. She is...
Stop cussing.
And go home, I got you.
And finally, we have Chromia with red eyes. Pretty scary. Yeah, I'd run away too if I were Starscream. Optimus arrives at Alpha Trion's secret base, where he instructs Optimus Prime to interface with Alita 1?
Only your design will properly interface with Alita 1.
But how would you know, Alpha Trion? Only my creator could know that.
An educated guess.
Does Optimus Prime not know that Alpha Trion is his dad? Well, I guess War Dawn probably wasn't even written just quite yet. It seems like the Autobots have the upper hand on the Decepticons after shooting the guns out of their hands, but they forgot that Shockwave is a giant space gun. Luckily, it's Optimus and Alita to the rescue. So their sugar daddy, Alpha Trion, sets up the girls with a new base. And they all have a sweet little moment with their boyfriends. That is, except for Lancer and Greenlight. They don't get boyfriends in this episode. Maybe Bumblebee and Cliffjumper were supposed to be their boyfriends, but they just didn't make it onto the space bridge. Or who knows? Maybe they don't need boyfriends, if you know what I mean. And so, the ladies say goodbye to their fellas. And we never see the female Autobots ever again. At least not these female Autobots. Of course, we'd get RC in Transformers the Movie and Season 3 and 4, but unfortunately, we never see Alita's crew in the show ever again.
I guess we have Alpha Trion to thank for our victory.
Yes, such a wise old Autobot. He's almost like a father to me.
More than you'll ever know, Alita.
Wait, so Optimus does know? Did Alpha Trion tell him off-screen? This is just too confusing. Well, that was a great episode of Transformers. Easily one of the best. I love that we got an episode in this quote-unquote boys show with a bunch of girl robots taking the spotlight. Although, I do wonder, if this cartoon is basically a half-hour toy commercial, why put in a bunch of characters who wouldn't receive toys until decades later? Maybe it was an effort to appeal to more of a female audience? There certainly are a few episodes in this season that are more romantic than most. However, by introducing female Autobots, this episode does bring up a number of questions, such as why do they exist? As we learn in the 5 Faces of Darkness, the Transformers, created by the Quintessons in this universe, or at least thought to be created by them, but that's a whole other mess to cover when the time comes. But basically, the Quintessons had 2 production lines. The servant robots, which would eventually become the Autobots, and the war-fighting robots, which would eventually become the Decepticons. So where did the female Autobots fit in? Well, I'm guessing some of the Quintessons' clientele may have preferred a more feminine aesthetic in their servant bots. That's why we have female Autobots. Or who knows? Maybe female Autobots are actually the default. And maybe some of the Quintessons' customers requested male servant robots, making the male Autobots the variation on the norm. As to why the female Autobots might have gone extinct, perhaps if the female Autobots were the more popular model, they might have all been shipped off-world at the time of the Cybertronians' uprising. Who knows? There may be many more female Autobots out there on distant planets, either still serving their masters, or have rebelled but just haven't contacted their home planet for one reason or another. Also, the existence of female Autobots begs the question, why are there no female Decepticons? Of course, in series after this one, we would have more and more of a female presence on both the good guys and bad guys' respective sides. But not in G1. At least not in the main G1 cartoon fiction. The closest we would ever get are characters like Nightbird and Mega in Master Force. Or I guess you could count Starscream and Shrapnel in the French dub of Transformers the Movie. Again, Mademoiselle Shrapnel is so cute! I love her! Elle est tellement mignonne! I should also mention how the voice actresses for the female Autobots in this episode are all borrowed from other Hasbro franchises. Alita 1 is voiced by Marlene Aragon, who played Synergy in Gem and the Holograms.
I am Synergy, a holographic computer designed to be the ultimate audio-visual entertainment synthesizer.
While Moonracer is voiced by Morgan Lofting, who played the Baroness in G.I. Joe.
Oh, even I cannot swallow that one.
That is what she said.
Whose side are you on?
The same side you are on. My own.
Unfortunately, the wiki doesn't list a voice actress for either Chromia or Firestar, so their actors are unknown to this day, which is weird. I'm pretty sure that both Marlene Aragon and Morgan Lofting have done conventions. You'd think that someone would have asked them who the other voice actresses were for the other characters. Perhaps it's been too long and they simply don't remember. After all, this was probably just another day at work for them. But yes, I love this episode. I wish we could have seen more of the ladies throughout this series. I would have loved to see them return for at least one more episode. Maybe they could have come to Earth for a cute date night. Wouldn't that have been fun? Oh well. As always, let me know what you thought of this episode down in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and do all that other fun stuff. And I'll see you back here next time for another cute romantic episode of G1, The Girl Who Loved Powerglide. So I'll see you back here next time for that.